Hi guys, this is Mike from the last Corvette. I know I said I wasn't going to do another video until I had the C6 on the trailer, but I've been really trying to do a lot of reading lately and really brainstorming about the C6, C5, and even C7 fuel issue. We all know, I'm not going to touch on the whole basically recall. GM knew about this. They also have an existing issue. I personally know a guy that has a C7 Z06 model that is having, I shouldn't say a fuel leak issue, but it's definitely having some fuel delivery problems. So they're working on that, and very similar to what Auto Auction Rebuilds is going through right now with this C6 base model. So that's a whole different story. You can check him out and watch all of his videos on his C6. But for me, I wanted to do a video to basically put something down on video and put it out there so it stays. I'm going to put a link within the Corvette forum under C6 General Discussions. Also, it's going to be on YouTube. You guys are more than welcome to leave your comments. And then you can also comment on my Instagram page, which is Last Corvette. So let's start. The main reason I want to do a video is not only do I want to reach out to you guys, owners, mechanics, service advisors, and maybe someone can explain to me exactly what my symptoms are. Obviously, eventually, within the next few weeks or a month, the vehicle is going to be put up on a lift, and we'll figure out exactly what's going on. It could be a single thing or multiple things. But here's my story, and I want to make it to where once I progress and record, videos at the dealer, and then we figure out exactly what the main problem was, hopefully it helps the next person, either a current owner, future owner, a dealer, whoever, because you have to understand C6 aren't going anywhere, just like C5s. If anything, they're getting more and more popular because of the resale value, right? And they're getting affordable. All right, so let's go. So I bought the C6 from the auction, sight unseen. So I never had a dealer or a private owner chance to inspect the vehicle myself. Did I know about the fuel leak or the fuel issue? Absolutely. Like I said, I've known about the C5, C6s, even C7s. So when this thing was delivered, this vehicle was delivered to me, when it was sitting on the trailer before they unloaded the Corvette, I did look and did just a really quick scan as fast as I could of all the leaks. I didn't see none. I took the car from the trailer to my driveway, and it sat in my driveway for about 2 weeks before I was able to register the vehicle and take it out for the first time. When it arrived at my house, it had under half tank, maybe even a quarter tank. I have some videos, but I know it wasn't a full tank. And for me, I said the first time I take it out, once I get it, once I do all the small things that I wanted to get done to it and get obviously registered and insured, I said to myself, I'm going to take it to a gas station and get it filled up full. Because I didn't know what kind of fuel was in it, and I knew the vehicle sat there for about 6 months. So at auction lot, that is. So anyway, fast forward, I fill up the vehicle, I drive it, zero issues. I park it in the garage, started detailing the vehicle, and I'm obviously looking for leaks. I'm looking for fumes in the garage, and I had zero. And I was like, okay, we're so far so good. I had no idea if the vehicle was already serviced by GM, replaced by the previous owner out of his pocket, or whatever. I had no idea. And the reason is the only thing you can really see with the wheel liner in place is you can see the bottom, we call it the cradle, or the brace that holds, there's one on the driver's side, there's one on the passenger side, they hold the tanks in place. So the only thing you can really see, you can look under it and you can kind of see the bottom of the tank, and then obviously if you had any visible leaks, they would be coming through the brace itself. And I had none. So started driving the Corvette. I went through a full tank, filled it up again, and mind you, I didn't have enough time, or just I was busy, so I didn't drive it much, but I did go through a full tank. I filled it up again, and that was the tank that I was gonna actually, leave for the winter, because it was already getting late in the season. It was fall, late fall. So I ended up driving a few more times and parked it in the garage, no issues. And then I started recording videos and really getting into like my list of things of what I, planned on doing over the winter. So like one of them, I think the first thing I did was, it was the coolant flush. So as I was doing the coolant flush, you obviously have to burp the vehicle. So I started the Corvette, it ran for about 10-20 minutes, got it all primed up. Everything is fine, got coolant going everywhere. Perfect, shut it off, killed the lights in the garage, went to sleep, wake up the next morning, and the first thing that I noticed is a really strong fuel odor or a fuel smell in the garage. And that kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, man, what's going on? So I popped the garage door open, and mind you, I don't have any furnaces or any kind of pilots inside my garage, so not I wasn't worried about, God forbid, blowing the house up or anything like that. So first thing I do is I take a flashlight, and I started looking, and I really couldn't see anything. So the next step in my list of things to do was to remove the driver's side quarter panel and the rear bumper to get those painted because of some nicks and dings and damages that were caused by the previous owner. So once I removed the inner wheel liner, I quickly realized that there was a wet spot right on, it would be the outer edge bottom of the fuel tank on the bottom there. And I was like, man, is that a fuel leak, or is that just, road buildup from over X amount of years? So what I did is I wiped everything down, and at that point I ordered a new gas cap, and I thought to myself, maybe what I'm smelling, because I didn't see any fuel anywhere as far as like a fresh fuel leak. It was basically like caked up, almost like gravel, like road tar. So that's why I thought to myself, well, maybe it's not fuel, it's something else, petroleum based. So should have been a key there. But anyway, what I did is I wiped and once you remove the wheel liner, it exposes the evap line, exposes your fill neck. All that was tight and plugged in and looked good. You can't see your high pressure line, but still in reality, you can only see about 25% of the tank, the bottom side of the tank. Everything else is in its own cavity, and you got to drop the tank to actually gain access to the fuel pump and high pressure elbow that comes out of it. So what I did is I cleaned everything, and now I had at least a clear view of the bottom of the tank. And I said to myself, it's going to leak, and I'm going to be able to see it. So what I did is I had it running a few days later, and I did confirm that it was pouring out, not a leak. It started to pour out of the side of the tank, like the high pressure line was completely cracked, or the elbow was cracked, even though the vehicle was running just fine. So at that point, I killed the vehicle. I wiped everything down. I said, okay, this is a complete fire hazard here. And then it clicked back to me that I said, well, this vehicle came with half tank, and I had zero issues. I didn't smell anything. The vehicle was sitting in the garage. And even after I filled it up, I don't know, maybe because I was driving it, I have no idea, but I never had any fumes in the garage until I actually sat there and the temperatures dropped into 30s or even lower. So what I do is I go in, pop the high pressure line, go into the fuel rail, put a hose on it, a 3/8 hose, and I start pumping. I basically pumping out the passenger side fuel tank. And I brought the fuel level to about half, or just under half. And the vehicle sat there. I was doing a bunch of other projects, and I was recording all the stuff for YouTube. And so finally, 2 weeks ago, it was about 50, in the 50s. I fired up the Corvette for the first time, just for a quick startup to see, if I still had a fuel leak. So I let it idle for a little while and I didn't see anything. So once again, I cleaned the side of the tank and I let it sit there overnight, and there was no gas fumes in the garage. There was also no leaks, and like I said, the last time I ran it, there was literally just almost, I shouldn't say puddle, but a trickle of fuel coming down the side of the tank, the bottom side of the tank visible to me. So not the exhaust side, but the wheel side. And I had nothing. I couldn't smell anything, I couldn't see anything. So last Friday, I did the same thing. I fired up the vehicle. I actually drove it around the block and let it warm up, and I would just let it sit there and warm up in the driveway. And once again, I didn't see any visible fuel, and I also didn't smell any gas or had any fumes in the garage the following day. So that's the way it sits now. There's obviously there's a problem with the C6. It could be several things. It could be I'm not really sure. I know the two tanks are interconnected by the crossover, but I'm not sure. Maybe I have a bad seal on top of the tank, the main tank, where I have two tanks full or tanks full, right? So the driver's side, passenger side, and what it does is it uses up all the fuel out of the passenger side tank first, and then it uses the driver's side tank last as it progresses through the last half of the tank, or I shouldn't say call it a tank, but half when it's on the fuel gauge, or when the fuel gauge is saying half, it's actually starting to draw fuel from the driver's side tank, the main tank where the fuel pump lives. So this is where it sits now. My buddy said, once we get on the lift, we're going to figure out if it's a single thing, multiple thing. But the main thing for me is to get this all on video and help the next person. Like I said, if you're buying a C6, if you own a C6, I really want to go out there. I'm going to make a video on all the components out of the vehicle, show you guys exactly what was the root cause, if it was just one simple thing or multiple things. But for now, we're just going to wait till we get to that point, basically in the dealer on a lift, and figure out what parts we need. But the main thing, like I said, you can either comment below if you had similar issues with this half tank, full tank, or just a regular leak. You can comment below in this video. You can go to my Instagram channel, Last Corvette, and leave comments there. I'm also gonna post this link, like I said, on the Corvette forum under C6 general discussion, and you guys can go through there, go through the progression, and just and share your experiences. But in reality, there's a bunch of videos on how to, or mostly it's how to. Most of them are do-it-yourself type, just like I try to do it as much as I can myself in the garage, but there's always limitations and limits. And I think for this one, this is my limit, because if I had a hoist, it would be a different story. But I really want to make it to where we start with a problem. I'm going to show you guys everything out of the vehicle. We'll go through the fix, and then it should help the next guy. But in the meantime, let's discuss what your problem was, what problem you're currently experiencing, and then help the next guy if somebody buys a C6 and either has fumes or gas leaks, or they're just going through inspection, and at least they'll be able to see or know what to look at before they purchase the vehicle, maybe from a used lot or from a private owner. All right, guys, next video is going to be trailer going to the dealer. But in the meantime, let's kind of get the discussion going about this whole C6 fuel leak. Talk to you later.